Wow, wow, wow. How are you? How are you? Karanja James again. A coach, a speaker, and an entrepreneur. So let's get down to this. There is one skill, the best skill. Let me start from the highest of all. The best skill that you can learn in this world is communication. That's done. Communication, articulation, explanation. But if you want to become the best in communication, there is one skill you should master. One skill. I'm not best in it, but one skill. When you talk about communication, one skill stands out strong. One skill. One skill is storytelling. Storytelling. Let me start by this. When are you going to tell your story? Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. If you ask about the president of the country you live today, you are going to tell other people about your president if you're in another country, because you know their story. They have told you your story. When are you ready to tell your story? You don't have an excuse with all these social medias, TikTok, Instagram, and all those things, and Facebook and YouTube. You cannot afford not to tell your story. If you cannot tell your story, write your story. Write your story. The reason being, make sure before you leave this world, you have made an impact to someone's life. It's through storytelling that you know where you have come from. Most of you never found your great grandfathers, but you are told he used to look like this. And the history tells us about the story of evolution, where we came from. And you believe that story. If you believe in evolution, there are people who tells you about Jesus, the Christianity type. They tell you about Jesus, a person who used to live 2,000 years ago. He did this and he did that, he did miracles. You have not seen him, you will never see him, but it's enough to change someone's life. It's enough to change how we see things. Storytelling. So Jesus knew that he wanted to spread the gospel according to the gospel itself. So he went out and found 12 people. He taught them for 3 years. After teaching them for 3 years, when he ascended to heaven, those people, when they got Holy Spirit, they preached, and he told that the first day 300,000 people got saved. Those people have been talking about that story, that gospel, 2,000 down the line, and those people who are Christians, they are more than 5 billion. Storytelling. No one has been there, but it has been a story that has been told and told and told and told. Many people know about stories in your language, your dialect, where you come from. There are those stories, those heroic stories. Those people who knows about Robin Hood, that guy, the Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. Stories, how America was formed, how colonization came to happen, how Hitler became Hitler. It's a story. You're not there. So story is very important. Telling a story is very important. And someone told me that when you come to sales, then communication, he told me, numbers tell facts, but stories sells. So if you want to sell yourself, you have to give stories. Make sure you're good at storytelling. Someone gave me a story and told me that there lived a village in India, and there was this old person, and every night between 9 to 12 a.m., that guy had to shout 3 words. He used to say, "All is well." That guy used to say those words to everyone in that village. Everyone could hear his voice. All is well. People in that village believed his words, that they slept. They never employed soldiers. They slept well for ages, for years, until one day thieves came to steal, and they stole their belongings, because even they could not even lock their doors. You know, I hope you're with me. They could not lock their doors because someone assured them that all was well. But when the thieves came, they stole their belongings. They went to that man and they found that man was blind all his life. So what did those guys believe? They believed in someone who even could not see, but they could hear his voice. That story was well articulated about mindset. If someone tells you it works this way and you fall that way, even if that person is bright, if you believe that person, you live by that person what he believes. You know, it's about mindset. So when you tell a person, maybe you are communicating, maybe you are doing sales, you know, it's able to engage the person. That's the point number one. It's able to engage the person you're talking to, because everybody has a story and someone can relate to your story. So if you have an audience you're talking to and you tell a story, those people, they are going to relate with you. Because if you talk about your father, everybody has their father. If you talk about your mother, how he or she treated you, they are going to be able to engage with you, because everybody has a father, has a mother. Or you have ever had someone who has a mother or a father. So stories are able to engage your audience. It doesn't matter if it's 2 audience or 10 audience. And that's why many churches, especially in Africa, are able to steal people's mind, because they know how to tell stories about heaven, and they have never been here. They have never been there. Someone asked me, do you want to go to heaven? I said yes. Then he asked me, do you want to die right now to get there? I said no. So our pastors have been telling us stories about heaven, a very good place, and we believed them, and that's why we are saved. But they are good at storytelling. So number one, you're able to engage your audience very well. Stories are very memorable as long as they are able to catch people's attention and they're able to relate. That's number 2. Number 3, people are emotionally controlled. Actually, when you are doing sales, their impulse bias, when they buy out of emotion. Actually, ladies are impulse bias because they act on emotions. You know, they are not strategic, they are emotionally beings. They buy on impulse thinking and they are emotions. So if you're able to tell a story when you're selling something, you are likely to make sure you sell more, because people are able to connect with you emotionally. You know, emotionally. So number 4, storytelling has a competitive advantage. You know, when you have a person who is selling to someone or talking to someone doesn't know how to give stories, and you're able to give stories, you're going to gain more than them. It's very easy, you know. So my question is, when are you ready to tell your story? And you know, a story can break you or help you. If I tell you a story, a bad story, a negative story, and that's why people have been watching these horror movies, and you find them, they're dreaming at night with horrors. But someone is going to tell you a very good story, a very sweet story, and you're able to relate with it. You know? Be able to tell your story. A story can tell someone where he has come from and where he's going. Like the revolution, the Christianity story. They are stories. They are stories, and they have some creatures they put together and tell you that these are the remains to make you believe. That's nonsense. Those are just stories. In the country I come from, we call them stories of jabber. Just stories, man. So, make sure Make sure you're very good at storytelling. Make sure you're very good at storytelling. It's going to assist you. Either you are looking for people, and the reason why storytelling is very good is because whatever you're doing, whatever the business you are, it's a business of persuading people. When people engage with you, when people think like you, when people come aboard, you're able to persuade those people. If you want them to get saved, if you want them to buy what you are selling, they are able to be controlled. That's what I can say. You know? That's what I can say about storytelling. It helps you. Actually, don't know why people love storytelling. People who tell stories, good stories, bedtime stories. They're able to relate with the stories. So whatever you're doing right now, before it's too late, before you're too old, make sure you're able to tell your story first and tell other stories, other people's stories. Stories can save you lots of money. Stories can save you lots and lots and lots of money. There are two ways to learn in this world. You can learn from someone's mistakes, either through watching or learning from his story. Or you can get yourself the event that will happen to you, but the best way to learn something that can help you is from other people's stories. How they did it, how they felt. Get that fire burning inside of you today and be able to tell your story. Make sure before you die, you tell your story. If you cannot tell your story, write your story. And make sure those people that you live with, those people that you want to persuade, those people you want you want them to buy from you, make sure at one point you are able to tell your story, where you come from, what you have been doing, and what you're going to do. Because someone is going to relate with it and is going to give money. Because I've said most of people are impulse buyers, they buy with emotions. So make sure you tell your story. Right this moment. Don't waste any moment. Tell your story. Have a good day as you plan to tell your story. Bye.